Today is Thursday, May 29th, 2K14. This is Wayne Goldsboro Television. Hello there, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best. Good morning.
Well, here we go. We're past the middle of the week now, and happy to say we are. We're on our way to another gorgeous weekend. The weather has just been so great.
Absolutely.
Of course,
it
now
has been.
We could use some rain.
So I hear. But you know what? We'll probably get some.
We'll
get
will.
some if we just
will.
hold tight.
Don't want to push it, but we will get it. Things are kind of dry right now, though. Well, Kim, who's on today's program?
Well, let's see. On today's program, we have Communities in Schools. You spoke with a young lady who's coming in to talk to you about what?
Well, she came in to talk about, number one, what Communities in Schools is, what they do. She came in also to talk about a couple of events they have coming up, and she also came in to talk about the need for volunteers and explains why volunteers are needed and what they do.
Well, that's a program that you'll hear more details about, and you'll find out opportunities of how you could volunteer and help them right here in your own community. Right, Wayne?
That's exactly right.
We also have Crime Stoppers on. Sergeant Paige Lerner's coming on, and she's got 3 different cases that they are asking for your help.
Wow. Well, they do a great job.
Yes, they do.
Paige, Sergeant Lerner doing a great job. And they're constantly needing the public's help. And that's what the program's all about.
That's exactly right.
Getting the public to help solve these crimes.
Well, and like Sergeant Lerner has told us, most of the time when crimes happen, there are witnesses all around. And they can give you a lot more detailed feedback than just taking your time and trying to figure it out on your own.
Right.
So that is a fantastic program. Been around for years. It's proven that it works.
And it does.
And you'll hear more about it soon.
And ours here in Wayne County, and final word on that, I don't want to drag it on out, but the final word is that we have an extremely successful Crime Stoppers program here in Wayne County, Goldsboro and Wayne County, and they have received national recognition.
Yes, they have. We're very proud of them.
Okay, it's May 29th it is. Today,
Yes, it
the year
is.
was 1978. Most of us almost remember that one.
Yes.
1978, when the postage went up 2 cents.
I just don't remember it going up to 2 cents.
Oh, no, it didn't go up to 2 cents.
It went up 2 cents.
An additional 2 cents.
Right,
it went from
exactly.
13 to 15 cents. 15 cents to mail a letter. Outrageous.
That was outrageous.
Well,
So we thought at the time, right?
At the time, we thought it was. Actually, okay, here I'm going to make some enemies right now because I think the post office does not charge enough for postage. Boy, hey, don't throw rocks at your TV set.
No, don't.
Because, and the only reason I say this is, and I'm not crazy about having to pay more money to mail a letter, but for postage on a simple letter to go from here to Hawaii or China is so small. The amount you pay is so small for that, and sometimes it's extremely important material that you're sending out there.
True.
So why shouldn't you pay a little extra, more than you're paying now, to go 12,000 miles?
There's 2 sides to every story.
Oh, I know. Look, I don't want it to go up necessarily, but the post office for umpteen thousand years has been in financial straits.
True.
And I'm not going to say anything at all about management. I'm not going to say anything at all about management.
Uh-oh.
But I'm actually, and it's not management, it's higher up. So part of it has to do with Congress. Okay?
I hear you.
All right.
All right, well, let's talk about a little bit about Farmers Market. Yesterday we had the Farmers Market over at Herman Street.
Okay.
At Herman Park, and then this Saturday, want to remind you, if you work on Wednesdays and you aren't able to get over to the Farmers Market, you have the opportunity this Saturday from 8 o'clock until noon at Cornerstone Commons. The DGDC, which is the Downtown Goldsboro Development Corporation, and Goldsboro Parks and Recreation have partnered together to make that happen, to make it convenient for you. Shop local, fresh produce, born and raised right here in your own community.
I love it.
So 2 opportunities to visit a farmer's market.
Excellent. Coming up on June 11th, another blood drive. The city and the county go at it again. Head to head, toe to toe, blood to blood.
Is it that time again?
It is that time again. That's June 11th. We'll tell you more about that as we get closer to it.
June 12th, the very next day, Center Street Jam, we have the Monitors. The Monitors will be at John Street parking lot. It is, of course, a summer music concert, free admission, open to the public. Love to have you. The Monitors on June the 12th from 6 until 9 p.m. Come out and join us.
This weekend, Ride for the Red and the Red Cross Communities Day this Saturday, as a matter of fact, at the Red Cross office on North George Street. It's going to be a big event. There's going to be a lot of booths set up. It's going to be a lot of food set up. And the Ride for the Red also taking place that same day. They'll start out from the Red Cross office and drive and ride 75 miles. You want to be a part of this? That's great. Take your motorcycle and take someone to sit on the back seat. If you're one person, it costs you $20 to ride. If you're two people, it costs you $20 plus an additional $10 for the second person.
Do they need to register ahead of time, Wayne?
You need to register, be there about 11 o'clock, kickstands up at 1 o'clock, and then that's when you ride.
So you can register the same day?
Sure you can.
Nice.
You certainly can.
All right,
that's
fantastic.
a lot of fun, too.
It's all for a good cause.
Yes, indeedy. All right.
Anything else happening?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of things happening, but maybe we should move on to our interview.
Maybe we should. Communities in schools. Let's see what they've got to say.
In the studio today, we have Candida Brown-Gorham from Communities in Schools. Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Glad you're with us today.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, in case you don't know what Communities in Schools is before we get into the program, tell me quickly or briefly, what is Communities in Schools? How would you describe it?
Communities in Schools is a nonprofit organization, and we work closely with the schools and the community area with our leadership in the Wayne County area, trying to see what we can do to try to help our kids become more successful, even during the time while they're in schools, and trying to help them get started after school.
So you actually encourage them and help them in ways where they need help to get through the,
Right.
Because school's tough for some kids.
Yes, it is.
It's really
yes,
tough.
it is. You have to you have them concerned about not having the right materials that it takes for them to be successful in school. Some of them don't have any clue on what they have to do in order to accomplish the goals that they want to do after high school.
Oh yeah, now that's a big one.
It is.
Because some school students are just there going through the motions.
And have no idea.
No, not a clue. Yeah, and that's unfortunate, and not pointing fingers at anybody.
Right.
But sometimes counselors mean well, but they miss clues. They just miss telling the children or the students things that these children and students need to know.
Well, you
Direction.
know, counselors have a lot on them now.
They do.
It's not like it used to be, where they were set up to do just one certain specific thing, and that was just to monitor the individual child. But they have a lot more things placed on them for them to have to do.
Yeah.
So communities and schools are there to assist the schools, not just the counselors, but the teachers and the staff that's there to try to help them with the children who might need a little bit more assistance than what they're able to give them at that time.
Well, in the late 1800s, when I was in high school, we didn't have communities in schools, and there were counselors and I can only relate to that because I can't relate to what's going on now. But they had missed a few things that might have helped.
Well, you know, back in the 1800s,
Yes.
they didn't have a lot of things like the computer, the internet, and stuff like that
true.
that could give you the information that you might would have needed to help them help you.
Yeah.
But now they have things like surveys that the counselors set out so that they'll make it easier for them to have career paths set up for the children. That makes it easier for the children to figure out what it is that they want to do, which makes it easier for the counselors to help them figure out where to go.
That's so important.
It is.
Because if the children know a direction or have a choice of directions in which they want to go, then they
can set it up.
They can set it up, and counselors can help them achieve that.
Right.
They know they have a direction then.
Right. It's hard to say when you talk to a child and you ask them, what is it that you want to do? And this child is already 17 years old.
Yeah.
And they look at you and say, I don't know.
I don't know.
And they're being honest because there's so many things that they might be able to do, but they never looked at some of the things that they're good at doing as being an actual job potential. I have quite a few children that come into my teen court office that tells me some of the, when I ask them, one of the questions is, if you could get paid to do anything, what would it be? I have anything from gaming, being a neuroscientist. I even had one little boy who said that he wanted to climb electrical poles to put up the electricity wire. So, and that's starting to become one of those type of jobs that's very needed.
Yeah.
So, you know, you just have to find out something that they think about all the time, or something that they're doing all the time, and let them know, well, guess what? You can get paid to do that.
Wow. Okay. So that's quite a job you have there.
Oh, yes.
That's you have a lot of responsibility as well.
Yes,
man.
I do.
All right, this is so important. But now, communities in schools here in Wayne County, you have a lot of things going on right now in the county. Tell me some of the things you're doing.
Well, we're actually getting ready to do the Red Cross Community Day on the 31st of this month from 1 to 6. Communities and schools will be setting up a booth out there along with some other vendors.
Well, that's Saturday.
It is. That's Saturday.
Whoa.
We just had the TAPS program where they had the local attorneys and district attorneys and judges that came in. They did a mock trial for the local high schools, and the students there, they went back and forth with each other in a trial that was set up, and they had to go through that process. We just got out of that. We're doing teen court every second and third Tuesday.
What is teen court?
Well, the teen court program is the program where we have children who first-time offenders, one-time only chance. If they get caught up in something that leads them through district court, through juvenile services, or through school resource officers, they can be referred to our teen court program, where they're actually set up in a trial setting by their peers. And the only adults that participates in this program will be the judge, which could be one of our actual judges, local attorneys, DAs, or law enforcement officers that sit on the bench.
So if a child is caught up in something that could potentially be harmful as far as a record, as far as going to jail, or as far as perhaps being
juvenile services
or something like that, we don't want that to happen if this child is worth saving. No, I don't mean to say worth saving.
I understand.
But if there's a chance that this child can be put on the right track and saved, right track, then this is where we want to go with this. And this is the judge is the only one that's an adult. The rest of them.
And we do have a deputy, which we would like to really say thank you to our Wayne County Sheriff's Department.
Yes.
They send deputies out to actually serve as security, on duty for security reasons only.
Right.
Yeah, that comes out for us. So we really would like to say thank you about that. And our school resource officers are really on it. They do not like having to send the children to the juvenile services or to district court if they can help it.
Well, we're talking about young people here, and young people make mistakes. Sometimes they make bad
choices.
Yeah.
And if they can help them get their choices together, but it is a one-time opportunity. The parents are told that, the youth are told that first time out when they come into the office, you know, if you do not complete successfully, we do have to return you back to the referring agency.
There you go.
And then they will have to give you whatever their sanctions are. But it is a nonprofit organization. They do not have to pay court costs for teen court. If they have to pay any court costs, it's actually with the district court, and that has nothing to do with us, which I have to explain that quite often. But it's nonprofit, like I said. We're just there to try to help that individual get through that situation, because when you have a parent sitting there with their child because they had some type of disciplinary action done to it, whether it be through the school resource officer or whether it be in the district court, that is a hard time for most parents.
Yes, that's tough.
It's tough.
On
and sometimes it's embarrassing to them because they do not understand why their child might have done that. And it takes a little time to sit there and have to calm them down sometimes because they're really upset about how their child got in this predicament. Yeah. But they do get a chance to talk to the individual. They talk to that child while they're sitting in my office. They discover certain things about it, and it sometimes brings the child, well, 9 times out of 10, it brings the child and the parent a whole lot closer than what they were when they came in. Wow. And teen court is only one portion of communities in schools. That's you guys do so many things. We actually have success coaches set up in our local schools. actually, we're going to be going to Goldsboro High School, where Barbara Wilkes is the graduation coach there.
Well, she's doing a good job.
She's doing a really good job. She was the first graduation coach. I think it was called Success Coach at the time when they first started out. And that school, Teen Court actually started a time where the volunteers are going against each other in the different schools, and they will win the Teen Court banner to hold for 9 weeks every time, depending on which school it is that has the most volunteer hours.
Wow.
And Goldsboro High School has actually won it 2 9 weeks in a row.
Wow, that's wonderful. Well, you know, Candida, with all these programs that Communities in Schools has, I know that you have actually thousands of people helping you do all this, all the volunteers that
right.
help,
And
right?
we need as many volunteers as possible.
How many people are helping you out now?
Right now, I want to say that we have somewhere like 59 adult volunteers that's on call. But
59? I thought you had hundreds and thousands of people in there.
This is just for the Teen Court part of it. Oh. And most of those adults are military. And what makes it hard for us, though, is because a lot of them are being stationed away. Yeah. So we need as many adult volunteers as we possibly can get. And we got a new implement for the scheduling, where we're going to start assigning adults, so they won't be coming in and find out they don't really need to be there because we have a cluster of adults one night and then the next night we don't have enough. Yeah. So we're going to start setting up some type of time scheduling for them to come in, and we will really appreciate
you need volunteers.
We need volunteers badly.
So what is the phone number for someone who wants to volunteer for Communities in Schools to help these young people out?
If you would like to volunteer for the Teen Court office or for Communities in Schools, because we do have fundraisers and stuff like that that we get up for just the overall part of it, you can call the 919-735-1432. Okay. And you can ask for either me, Candida Brown Gorham, or Jasmine Tyus, who's our Teen Court Volunteer Coordinator, or Miss Selena Bennett, who is our Executive Director for Communities in Schools.
All right. Is that 919-735-1432?
That's correct.
919-735-1432. Our guest has been Candida Brown Gorham, recently married.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Hi, Stephen. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Okay. Thank you for having us.
Right.
Welcome to this week's edition of Crime Stoppers, Crime of the Week. Joining me today is Sergeant Paige Leonard, here to give us details on 3 separate activities that have happened in the city limits where we need your help. Hi, Paige. Thanks for being back with us.
Thank you for having me again.
So you've got some information you're going to share. We're asking everyone in the community to listen, and if they have any ideas or if they've seen or heard any of this information, to give you a call, correct?
Right.
All right.
And usually I just try to talk about one thing, and I know this is a little much, but we've had some shootings here recently, and I kind of want to highlight those shootings. We need any and every detail that anybody can give us. The first one I want to talk about was May 13th, and a lot of people are familiar with this. We responded to 101 Irvin Drive in Goldsboro, and we had a victim located there by the name of Darrell Best, and he had been shot and was deceased when we got there. So we are still actively working that case, and we want the public's assistance. Anything they can provide, anything they might think we might already know. We may not know that, but we're still asking for anybody to call in for details with that. And again, that was at 101 Irvin Drive. That was 42-year-old Darrell Best. He's 42.
Okay. Can you tell us about what time of day?
That one was about 11:30 at night.
Okay.
And there was actually, this is an area that has an apartment complex, and there was people out and about in that time of night, and we're still asking for witnesses to come forward. So we're still asking for the public's help in that case.
Okay.
The second one I want to highlight was on May 21st, and that was about 6 o'clock in the afternoon, or evening, I should say, where we feel like we have several witnesses out there, and we would love for them to come forward and give us a call. That was in the 300 block of South Herman. We had officers called a shots fired call, and when they got there, there was a blue Jeep in the area. There was actually several people in the area, but there was a Corey Best that was in the vehicle. He was a victim of a gunshot wound. He survived, but he unfortunately was a victim. He had been shot. So that was 6 o'clock in the afternoon, 300 block of South Herman Street.
So we do feel like there were people out and about that could give us some information to help us solve this.
Right. That was, you know, a lot of traffic going on, and that's kind of a busy little intersect area
Especially
right there.
at 6 p.m.
Right. So we're still asking the public to give us a call about that. If they know anything about the shooting involving Corey Ramon Best Jr., give us a call.
Okay.
All right. The third one is on May 24th, and that was about 3:15 in the morning. That was actually in the 310 South William Street, close to the same area, not the same block or not the same street, but close in the general vicinity. We had Dontrell Lewis was outside and was shot, and we have very few leads in this case, and so we're asking anybody, you know, if you've heard anything, you saw anything, you know, anything you think that could help us, to give us a call.
So tell us more about how Crime Stoppers works. They see the number, they've been seeing it scroll at the bottom, both a text and a phone number.
Right.
So tell us how that works.
Well, you know, the beauty of Crime Stoppers is it's an anonymous program. You know, we went through a lot of trouble to get that phone blocked, to cover us legally and to cover the community legally. That way when they call me, it's blocked. I can't see their name or their number. That means, you know, I'm not going to give their name and their number to an investigator or somebody to follow up with. I take their information down, I put it in a tip form. I leave it gender. I don't put any gender on there. It's not gender specific, is what I guess I'm saying. And provide that information. And you answer this every time. Right, I'm the one. The phone. I answer that phone. If they tip that same phone, which is the 222-4230 number, I'm the one that responds to those tips. So we had it blocked the same way, so they can either tip me if they're more comfortable with that, and I can respond to them
by text.
By text, or they can leave me a message. You know, same thing. If they leave a message on the Crime Stoppers voicemail, I'm the only one that retrieves those messages. And again, it's not going to show their name or their number.
And how can it be advantageous to the people that actually call in?
Well, if it's information that leads to a felony arrest, then they're eligible for a cash reward. So we set up a code name or a code number. They call me back and say, hey, what's the status of the information I provided you? If we made an arrest, then they're eligible. We meet and we provide them a cash reward. Simple process.
Well, we've got 3 different situations here. That community, we're looking your help. If you saw anything, even if you assume the police know, they may not. So please give them a call or text. Either one of these avenues could possibly lead you to a cash reward and help the Goldsboro Police Department and the Wayne County Sheriff's Department find these people and let's solve these cases.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. And this is this week's Crime of the Week.
All right, we're back, and wow. Now, again, if you need to, if you know anything at all about any of these mentioned by Sergeant Lerner of Crime Stoppers, be sure you give them a call. 735-2255 is the number.
Go.
Okay? Perfect. Outstanding.
What's going on today?
Well, today is Put a Pillow on Your Refrigerator Day.
Excuse me?
Put a pillow on your refrigerator.
And why would one do that?
I have no idea.
That makes absolutely no sense.
Something to celebrate, but it's also Learn About Composting Day.
Well, there you go.
That's a good one.
I know several people that would be very happy to give you information about that from the city of Goldsboro.
Yes, yes. Yeah, you know what? We do have a top-of-the-line composting facility.
Don't we?
I'm telling you, something we really need to be talking about and proud of.
That's exactly right. And you know what? You can find out more about that right there on this channel. You know, we run information. We have videos where we've gone out and done video tours of the compost plant here in the city, and you can find out more about it, or you can call the director, Karen Brashear, right there at the compost plant.
And you know what? Where do we get that compost? That's not sold from the city.
Right.
That's actually distributed to retail stores around the area.
Yes,
is that
it
right?
is. That's exactly right.
It's something gold, right?
Something gold.
What's it called? You recall what it's called?
No, compost.
Compost. It's called compost, made in Goldsboro.
That's exactly right.
Don't forget, Ride for the Red is Saturday.
Gosh.
You can register beginning at 11 o'clock. Ride for the Red. That's Glenn Barnes started that. He's Goldsboro Police officer there for many years, part of the police department. But you ride for 75 miles.
Wow, 75 miles.
I know. Look, it passes quickly. 75 miles is nothing. I mean, you get out and ride on the roads, you're up and down, ride those curves. It's so much fun. The registration begins at 11 o'clock and kickstands up at 1 o'clock. That's when you ride. Also, Community Day, and as you heard Candida mention from the communities in schools, they're going to have a booth set up out there as well. That's this Saturday. All right?
Also want to remind you, we have 2 of the open to the public outdoor pools that opened back on May 24th. That's the Mina Wheel Pool and Peacock Park Pool. They're both open to the public. If you want to find out hours, you can go to GoldsboroParksandRecreation.com and you can find out exact hours of operation, free to the public, Mina Wheel and Peacock.
The eldest of the Jacksons.
Yes.
Jackson 5, Rebby.
Rebby?
Rebby.
Rebby.
Rebby, baby.
Okay.
Rebby having a birthday today. Rebby turned 64, Rebby Jackson. Let's see now. Also a birthday for LaToya today. She's 58.
Really?
Actress Annette Bening turning 56. Lisa Welchel of The Facts of Life turning 51 today. And Anthony Geary, he was on General Hospital.
I remember him with the curly hair.
Yeah, got married and all that stuff on the show there.
Many times.
Yeah, several times. Well, they all do, but anyway, they did. Anyway, he's 67 years today. He is 67
Wow.
years. Yeah. And let's see, Danny Elfman having a birthday as well, the composer turning 61.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, if you're interested in seeing a movie on the lawn, you can go to Herman Park right on the lawn at 8 o'clock p.m. on Friday, June the 13th. I don't know what the movie is, but it's free to the public, and they'll have another one on June 27th. They put up a great big screen. You bring your chairs and bring a snack, and it's very nice. We also have Cruise the Noose, which is a paddle trip on canoes on June the 21st. $10 for registration. If you're interested, you can go to GoldsboroParksandRecreation.com or give them a call, 739-7484. That is a fantastic event, Cruise the Noose.
Yeah.
They have a whole group of canoes. Last year, I believe it was about 100 going down the Noose, and they stop for a picnic part of the way. So we'd love to have you be a part of that if you're interested on June the 21st.
The movie thing. They're first-rate movies. These are big.
Oh yes, they're big name movies.
Big name, well-known movies. So
absolutely, and they do that in a lot of communities now. A lot of your smaller towns are doing that and having it open to the public. It's just a time for community to come together, free of charge. Just time to relax, and it's something fun for your kids to do.
There you go.
Outside.
All right. Time to move on. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll try this again. Okay. Be back tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. The show repeats at noon, then again at 5:30, and then again later on. So join us again tomorrow. Until then, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best, and this is what's happening in your community.